Detective Dan, everybody. Detective Dan.
I'm not a cheater.
Solving mysteries
I
left
did
and
not
right.
cheat. I knew it the whole time.
This week, I'm sitting down with All That star Josh Server on Throwback with Nickelodeon. I'm Anthony Padilla, and today I'm here to figure it out with the All That star Josh Server. Josh, are you ready to throw back?
Let's do it. Let's do it. Thank you for having me.
Huge fan of All That. I would watch it every weekend. It was a habitual ritual.
Wow.
Yeah.
That you're coining that phrase? That's a new thing. That's your new thing. You heard it here. Habitual ritual.
It was my habitual ritual
Amazing.
to
Well,
watch All That. I loved Big Ear Boy.
That's the one. That's the one. Everybody loves Big Ear Boy.
When you Google search your name, you see you with big ears.
Yes. I have said no matter what I achieve in my life, Ear Boy is never going away. And I had to just, be okay with that at one point.
Yeah.
And now it's great. Now it's great.
And you're okay with it?
Yeah, great. Like Tombstone. Ear
Yeah.
Boy. That picture. Ears.
What was your motivation for getting into acting?
I think it was like always something that I just was.
You just were born into the world?
No, I just mean I had a lot of energy when I was a kid, and my mom, I have an amazing family that nobody's really an actor. I'm the only actor in the family, but they did, she really encouraged the arts, and my sister's a writer and a poet. They encouraged our creativity and allowed us to do that. And I just always had a lot of energy, and I kind of gravitated towards that, and started doing school plays and, really early on. And it was just a great outlet for all that energy.
Were you the funny kid in class, or did you know that you were going to end up doing something in comedy?
Definitely the class clown.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was more like I had problems focusing, so
You couldn't focus on things, so you made jokes?
Yeah.
And then it ended
That
up
kid
being
needs to be on some kind of medication or
on TV?
Yeah. I was a good student, but I definitely probably made other students around me bad. I'm sorry, guys. I apologize.
You made these other kids laugh at jokes
I
instead.
apologize, yeah.
So what was the audition process like for All That?
Rigorous. I remember that. Yeah, it was, it's always hard to get a job as an actor.
Yeah, of course.
Doesn't matter. It's always a process, but I do remember that there were a lot of auditions. They went to a lot of different cities, pretty much like a nationwide talent search. Me and Kel were the two that were lucky enough to get picked out of Chicago.
Right, yeah. So you met Kel in Chicago during the audition process?
We did, and then we had definitely run into each other. Our moms had chatted and stuff like that. So it was cool to see him even in the audition. Yeah.
And then when you got on set, you're like, oh!
Yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
I know you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What was your reaction like when you first found out that you actually made the cut and that you were casted?
I remember we were really excited. I also I did a pilot for Nickelodeon that didn't get picked up, even before All That. And so even even at a young age, you kind of had already felt the ups and downs of the business, which is weird.
That's at 13, you're like, things aren't good for me this month.
Yeah. Don't get too high off the highs, right? At 13.
You already knew.
But I remember going, okay, it felt like another chance at a Nickelodeon show. So I remember being elated.
How were you feeling when you first made it on set?
So we actually met in Los Angeles first. I remember Brian and all the producers, we had a big party at Brian's house. And so everyone was there, and that was the first time we met all the cast members. And then we met again in Orlando. And when we were in Orlando, I do remember feeling it was something special.
I feel like there'd be a lot of pressure there. Was there a lot of pressure? Or?
I'm sure there was pressure to, to do a good job.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't remember it. Hard-hitting commentary. At what point did you crack? Jeez, I don't know. Maybe halfway through.
How involved were you guys in the writing process?
They wrote for us. We had amazing producers, amazing writers. I think over the years, in seasons 1 and season 2, they did start to trust us a little bit more. And they started to write specifically for us. Kel would be Kel goes in and does what Kel does, right? And they really gave us the freedom to do that.
Did you have any characters that were your own that ended up making it onto the screen?
Yeah, there was one character called Tandy. I don't know if you remember. She was this insane character. It was me in a red wig and a dress. When I read the script the night before, we were doing the table read, and it literally just said, Josh enters in a dress. And so they didn't have a character, and I just did this weird laugh.
I remember that.
And it just ended up where she didn't really talk. She just did that insane laugh the entire time, but they loved it, and it made it on the show. And then it became a recurring character.
When did you realize All That was a big deal?
It was a different, people couldn't instantly connect, right,
Yeah.
with their fan base, and like people, the feedback wasn't so direct,
Right.
So people would, you'd have to like travel to the show, or that you'd find them at like, people would be like at live tapings. So I think the first time I really realized the show was a big deal was like maybe midway through the first season, end of first season, where people would come to the tapings and you'd interact live with the kids and like the fans.
You influence so many kids, I feel like, in a positive way by giving them hope that they could also make other people laugh and, you know, maybe reach for the stars themselves.
I think one of the coolest compliments that you get nowadays, because like nobody knew that we would be talking about the show 25 years later.
Is it 25 years?
I literally think today.
Whoa!
Today. So when people, you know, actors, writers, producers, creators, like they come and they tell you that the show inspired them, I think that's the coolest compliment.
So I watched all that all the time and started doing sketch comedy on the internet in 2005. And I feel like I didn't know I was being influenced, but I feel like that influence is really clear when I look back at some of the stuff you and everyone else and on all that was doing.
That's
and I'm
awesome.
like, oh, of course, this show that I loved, I was emulating whether I knew it or not.
Yeah, it's starting to come back around in your work. I mean, again, that's a high compliment. And here we are.
And here we are,
And here we are, man.
Actually, all that is coming back. Is that right?
Yeah, rebooting it.
Yeah.
So excited.
And you're gonna take part in that in some way?
Yeah. I'm gonna be doing some guest star stuff, and
Yes.
I'm really excited. It looks like they're really, you know, marrying the old parts of the show and the new, and so I'm very excited to be part of it. Very excited for like the new generation. You know, a lot of people have kids. Hopefully they're sitting down and, you know, they're watching it with their kids. And I'm obviously excited for the new cast. It's going to be awesome for them.
Yeah, I can't get it out of my head how this is going to be such a big moment for this generation of kids. I feel like there was a hole missing in the market when all that went off air.
You know, again, shout out to Brian, and who's bringing it back, and Nickelodeon, who is, filling that void. I think so too. So, you know, hopefully everybody loves it. And you know, it becomes like multi-generational at that point. And, you know, who knew at that time we were doing it, that we'd be talking about like the reboot at this point. So
True.
I'm excited and honored to be a part of it.
So I feel like we can't do an interview with you without talking about your amazing fashion sense, especially in the 90s when you were on.
Thank you for having
all
me.
That.
It was great.
We do have some photos that I'd like you to take a look at.
Oh no.
Tell me what you think about the fashion sense.
Sure, let's do it.
Here we go. We got this one here. What do you call this look?
I think that's classic 90s middle part right there.
It is?
Right?
Yeah.
My girlfriend jokes with me that my hair just like that.
It naturally
just
falls
naturally fell that way.
I've tried
to work away from it.
We got more pictures
I don't
here.
know what I would call that look. It's just all vest.
Yes. It's like
all vest.
And this look here is a
classic. Is there a person in there? Is there a human boy
There's a
inside
head.
that giant shirt?
Your hair looks really good here, though.
Thank you. Again, classic middle part.
Yep.
That shirt is clearly too big for you.
Well, and what is that? Is that flannel? Is that flannel on the bottom of your pants, or is that another shirt, or is that like wrapped around your waist?
Listen, it was all about layering in the 90s.
There's lots of layers here.
Jesus. I'm so sorry.
That's so baggy.
I do. I just feel like I have to just apologize.
You're gonna apologize for
just
that?
well.
No, I think this period needed to happen.
Not a good look.
It needed to happen to get us to where we are
Copy
today.
that.
You were probably like some of your most comfortable years, though, right?
If we could circle back around for that 90s fashion, I think everyone would be more comfortable. We wouldn't look good, but we would feel great.
All right, so I have a few names that I'm going to throw out, and I'd like to hear the first thing that comes to your mind.
Oh, like word association.
Yes.
Like, look, it's a butterfly.
So let's start with some names of your castmates.
Okay.
All that. Lori Beth Denberg.
One of the wittiest people you'll ever meet. Perfect comedic timing. Literally just one-liner after one-liner. She's one of the funniest people you'll ever be around.
Angelique Bates.
Angelique's awesome. She stood out from a very young age. I remember on the pilot in the early season, she would do really great impressions. Like I remember her Urkel and things like that. And she's also just a great heart. She's a really nice, just a great person.
Katrina Johnson.
Katrina, such a dry, sarcastic sense of humor. Even like she was like the young kid on the show.
Yeah,
and she was very like, had that like witty dryness.
I feel like that's way ahead of her time.
Very much so. And she crushed her sketches and would always get like amazing laughs.
ALISA Reyes.
High energy, great physical comedian. ALISA had that same energy in her sketches. That like kind of like me a little bit, like where we just had that same, she would just bring it. ALISA would bring it. Again, awesome, just awesome person.
Amanda Bynes.
When Amanda came on the show, she was, I think, 10.
What?
And I remember the first time she did Ask Ashley, you knew you were watching like the next biggest thing in Nickelodeon and beyond.
You're like, a star is being
she
born.
just oozed talent. And you knew it, on set that day, which was crazy.
Wow.
I remember
You just felt
watching
it.
like the producers and people react to the sketch.
Like behind camera,
Yeah.
they're like,
Yeah, like you just knew you were witnessing something like really pretty cool.
Nick Cannon.
Mogul mindset,
Yeah.
entrepreneurial, insane work ethic. Nick is like good at so many things, right? And Nick has an amazing story about how he got on the show and like he was like our warm-up guy. Like he would do our warm-up during our tapings. I believe he also wrote like an episode of Kenan Kel with like a few of the other people I know really well. And then he got on the show and I mean now he's crushing it. So
he kind of just climbed the ranks
yeah.
through being a warm-up man?
He's just grinding always.
God,
like
that's
as a
amazing.
young guy, like really cool.
Kenan Thompson.
Sketch comedy legend, right? Like
Yes,
he's literally
absolutely.
been doing sketch between all that and SNL decades. And doing it at such a high level. And Kenan is one of the best people in the world. Like he was one of my best friends and just a great guy. Kenan's like, he's a brother.
Oh.
Yeah.
Kel Mitchell.
Same, family. The guys and I were all really close over the years. Kel's like kind of a comedic genius. Like,
Yeah.
I think Kel has created some of the best moments
Yeah.
in Nickelodeon history and some of the best characters. And they're timeless.
All right, so now for a few of your characters.
Okay.
Earboy.
Never going away. Again, not that I would want it. Like I said, it's like a word associations for other people. Like
Yes,
if people
yes.
say all that or me, like they're like, yo, Earboy, right?
Earboy, yeah.
And those pictures on the internet are just,
Oh, is there?
they're gonna be there, whether we like it or not.
Was there
But
ever...
Earboy was a fun character. It was also like a really young character, meaning like we did it very early in the
Yeah,
show and he
yeah.
just kept coming back.
Mumbly Spice.
That one was fun just because you tried to like make it work because
Yeah.
you really wouldn't have words.
Would there be no
So
words in the
right,
script?
so you'd be like, be mumbling.
What would it say in the script?
I mean, it would just be gibber. It would literally be jibber jabber.
The Dairy Godfather.
Don't think that's one of my characters. Just doing research.
No,
Did
no,
I do
man.
the Dairy Godfather?
What, you don't remember?
Did I do it?
Googling it.
By the way, could have easily forgotten and thrown you under the bus.
So it was you apparently.
Oh, I blacked out. It was.
I was like so
Thank you so much
embarrassed.
for having me. Thank you so
I
much
guess
for having me.
you're not.
My
It's
bad.
hard.
My bad.
I was embarrassed. I was like, I guess I gotta throw in my towel here.
Well, that's cool because I've done enough characters that I have forgotten.
That's good. That's a good place to begin. Speaking of which, do you remember Bernie Kibbitz?
Bernie Kibbitz.
Yes.
Yes.
I, Bernie Kibbitz, would like to welcome you to our 100th high school reunion. I'm gonna go change my pants.
The words that come to my mind are my family. It's obviously a very heightened version
sure,
of like
for sure.
aunts and uncles and grandpas and
Yeah.
those types of things. Bernie Kibbitz was always screaming.
Hurry up! I'm not getting any younger. Getting older. Getting older. Still getting older.
Always screaming.
Always
very
screaming.
loud. And he was at least 2 hours of makeup. Shout out to the makeup people and special
Yeah.
effects people. They were amazing.
What advice would Bernie Kibbitz give to kids today?
Be quiet! That's it. He would just yell at the children, which is probably not good. He'd be like, yeah! He would just yell. I just don't know if that's the best character to give advice to the youth of America. Who chose that?
I thought it
My
might
crotchety
be good
old
advice.
Jewish relatives yelling at people like, yeah, shut up! It's not good advice. Follow your dreams, find your voice. That's probably more sound advice.
Don't listen to Bernie Kibbitz.
Yeah, the advice that we've found,
Uh-huh.
we've circled back around to, Anthony, is don't listen to Bernie Kibbitz.
Detective Dan.
I loved it.
love
It's
Detective
always one of my favorites. Detective Dan was a lot of fun. It was like based on the Columbo voice, like he was like, "Wah," right?
Yeah.
And then he was, I kind of meshed a couple of like detective-y people that I had seen on TV together and just kind of came up with it. And then I did it for the run through and the producers really liked what we did. And then we kept bringing it back and it got more, just like all the other characters on all that, they got more and more insane. Like just third season, it wasn't. It was like
It's completely different.
yeah, it was. There wasn't any format to the sketches anymore. It would just come in and just pure insanity, like page 2.
I'm really sorry this had to happen, sir. I'll see that she goes to prison for a long, long time.
Well, thank you, sir.
Case closed. Let's get out of here.
But it worked. For me as a child.
Thank you.
For me as a child, I
I'm
loved it.
Detective Dan.
You can still do it.
I'm Detective Dan.
So you can still do Detective Dan.
Yeah.
Do you think you'd have the skills to help me solve a mystery today? I think I might have something down here to get you a little bit more into character.
Wow. And the mustache.
And
I
maybe
brought
a
my
mustache.
own. I brought my own.
I'll put this on you last.
Okay.
I'll be your
We're doing
makeup
this.
artist.
We're doing this now. All right. Let's do it.
Yeah, and I have a very important mystery here, and I would like your help solving it.
I'll do my best, son. Is this?
All right. May I? Oh wow! You can definitely tell it apart from your.
Yeah. You've never seen someone double mustache. Like has this ever been done in television?
double mustache?
Double mustaching has it ever been done in television history?
You might
I don't
be
think so.
Breaking boundaries.
Should I just
If
do it like
falls
this?
off, it'll fall off.
Should I do it like this?
If it
right.
falls off, it
All
falls
right.
off.
2 mustaches in 1.
I need your help solving a.
We're improvising in the moment.
It was
We're
meant
swinging,
to be.
kid. We're swinging. What's the mystery?
Detective Dan. Are you ready to hear what the case is?
I sure am. I'm not wearing pants.
A killer forces their victims to take one of 2 pills.
Uh-huh.
No matter which pill the victim takes, the killer takes the other one.
This isn't the Matrix. Okay.
After the victim takes their pill with water, they die. The killer always survives. How does the killer always make it out alive?
I don't know, but is that your real hair? It looks great. Is that a wig? That's a mystery. Looks fantastic. I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. Let me read the cue card.
Sure. Just get a better read on it.
Both the pills were harmless.
Did you read ahead, Detective Dan?
I did.
Well, you
I'm
did get it
Detective
right.
Dan, and I know how to read.
You got it right.
Thank you.
Detective Dan, everybody. Detective Dan.
I'm not a cheater.
Solving mysteries
I
left
did
and
not
right.
cheat. I knew it the whole time, Anthony.
Always knew it.
The whole
Anthony.
time. I'm Detective Dan.
Well, I feel like my childhood has reached an elevated level that I didn't think was possible, so thank you for giving that to me. And everyone at home that tirelessly requested to see you dressed up as Detective Dan.
That was based on requests.
Based on
Amazing.
request, you made everyone's dreams come true.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
And thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time on Throwback. Thank you for being here. This was great.
Honored, brother. Thank you for
Appreciate
having me.
it. Of course.
Yeah.
That was good. I feel like my, honestly, just seeing you perform that live, I was like, every bit of me went back to being a child again, and I feel like I've blossomed now.
I don't really know how to react to that. Blossoming on as we
blossomed on
stream
air.
on, yeah.
Blossomed.
He's blossoming.